This morning, thank you. One of the critics of the financial reform bill is Republican Congressman Darrell Issa of California. He joins us now from Washington. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
This legislation is supposed to help prevent big banks from taking risks that ultimately will take down the economy, like we saw 18 or 19 months ago. Do you see things in this legislation as it stands right now that can do that?
Well, there are some things in this legislation. What Republicans are asking for, when you say big banks, you have to realize the biggest bank-like entities involved in this were Freddie and Fannie. And we're still sitting there with trillions of dollars of underwater loans. So, yes, we want to have reform, but it's clear that a no vote today by 41 Republicans is a yes vote to do more comprehensive reform, more balanced reform, including the other entities that had something to do with, basically a meltdown that began with too many mortgages, many of them bought and encouraged by the federal government.
In the end, though, those things were turned into derivatives that were traded all over the place, which gave impetus to the market that said this can go on forever. We'll come back and ask a different question, though. This bailout fund that's sort of looming out there, this sort of idea of putting together about $50 billion, probably paid for by the banks, that would help deconstruct a bank if it came up to the edge and would be on the verge of going out of business. Good idea or a bad idea?
Well, Harry, I think what we have to remember is there already is a fund for banks. What we're talking about here is bank-like entities. Right. And the last thing we need to do is to further confuse what is a bank and what isn't a bank. After all, AIG was an insurance company, but AIG FP in England that did most of these guarantees that went bad, in fact, wasn't even an insurance company by real U.S. standards. So I think what we have to do in financial reform is say what is a bank, and it gets one set of rules. Financial institutions get another, and insurance companies, quite frankly, have to be a big part of the new regulation, along with rating agencies that told us things were AAA when they weren't even BBB.
You got that right. Congressman Issa, thank you very much for your time this morning. Do appreciate it.
My pleasure.